My parents were both alcoholics, and my brothers dragged me into the drug world, and the sex, drugs, and rock and roll wasn't just a shirt I wore, it was a way of life. And it was a long, long lifetime of darkness. God decided to intervene, I feel, in my life and sent me an angel. We had a child. She had 2 children when I met her, and we had Anthony Robert, called him Tony Bob. When Tony was about almost 3 years old, we found out that he had a brain tumor, a medulloblastoma, word I'll never forget. About 6 months later, he was passing away, and so we met a guy. His name was Jeff, and he came into our room and he introduced himself, and he leaned down to Tony and he says, "Hey, little fella." Tony goes, "Don't talk to me." And he goes, "He must know I'm a preacher." He offered any help he could give, you know, and he was a pastor of a small church of about 120 people, and a few days later, Tony passed away. It was November 20th, 1990. He was 3 years, 4 months, and 18 days. That's the hardest thing, to sit there and watch your son take his last breath. We saw this love of Christ through him, and it drew us to his church. And we've been attending ever since. It's almost 18 years. If it wasn't for that, I'd either be dead or in prison probably, because of the lifestyle I was leading. And we crashed head on into God and his love here. We became born-again believers. We were baptized by Jeff, and 2 years after Tony passed away, we were looking at the autograph book, and there was all these names from people from here at Ada Bible that we didn't know, but they were there. To have people that you just met care so much about you, and to bring you into their families, I mean, that was just amazing. So it was 10 years after Tony passed away, 2 more kids, and numerous ventures in the church. We been on missionary trips, you know, been in the small groups, and we were camping with some friends of ours from the church, the Livingstons, and Andy, our 18-year-old son, was in the Navy, and he came out and he spent the whole day at the campground with us. And I'm like, wow, an 18-year-old kid on leave from the Navy, and he's coming to the campground with us. And it was awesome. He played with the kids, and his mother, on his way home, he fell asleep at the wheel and woke up in heaven. At that point, I was pissed. I was pissed at my faith. I mean, I was just so angry. And although I didn't completely turn my back on God, I kept coming to church, but I wouldn't talk to him. I contacted Jeff, and we met next day, and he told me that God has big shoulders, and he can handle whatever it is you want to tell him, and that I needed to duke it out with him. And so I did. On my way home, I screamed, I hollered, and I told God how mad I was, and how could he do that to me, and told me the same thing he told Job. Where were you when I put the stars in the sky? Where were you when I made the seas and the lands and all the animals? And those kids weren't yours. Those kids are mine. Everything you own is mine. And I am his. My body, everything that I do. And so I said, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for acting like a jerk. And please forgive me. And he did. He really awakened me, and awakened new feelings in me, and made me realize how much he's done for me. About 1.5 years ago, I found out that I have MS, and it didn't make me angry. Not everything that God gives you is what you want, and not everything that he gives you is what you might consider good. And even though I don't know why I'm losing the use of my leg, there's a reason for it, and I have faith in that. I came from a really, really dark background, and I guess I look at it as You know how when you go in the basement and it's really dark because there's no windows, and you feel around and you find that switch and you flick the switch on and bam, you can see everything. To me, it was like God was that light switch and Jesus is that light. And until I found that switch, I couldn't see all these things. It was dark. Somebody said to my wife the other day, "Doesn't anything good ever happen to you guys?" And she said, "Every day something good happens to us." People are going to tell you that God doesn't do miracles in this world anymore. You look them right in the eye and tell them they don't know Dave Stevens, because he did a miracle in me, a big one.